boundaries in your life, or else you remember that diss that everyone used to throw around, oh, you know, you're sleeping around. You'll pretty much sleep with anything or anyone that just has a vagina or a penis. Yeah, it's starting to become the norm, and the fact that we're actually our sense of boundary just because we want to get a shag is quite a bit of an issue. But anyways, y'all are free to leave your comments, questions, and feedback on the comment section of the IGTV page at Breaktime on Westside. For those of y'all that have been tuning in the whole time and sat through everything, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later. We out, people. Now, I was on Twitter yesterday actually, and while I was scrolling down, I came across this post that had been posted up by someone. Can you have sex with your cousin? I will not lie, this guy had about 389 comments last I checked, and I kid you not, like 90% of all of these people on the comment section are literally just in favor of shagging your cousin. Now, that being said though, I will not lie, there is some level of merit to it. You know, it's like asking, should pineapple be put on pizza? And the answer is pretty much still the same. It depends on a bunch of different things. Now, I did an episode that was related to this not too long ago. It was Battle of the Sexes episode 8. It's called Let's Keep It in the Family. And I pretty much went into the whole, you know, cousin bitter things. Because there's a point at which it's acceptable. And there's a point at which it exceeds it. And that's where the depends comes in. Because obviously, if it's your first or your second cousin, there you have to draw a line there. Like, you have to be sure you give that no-go. And you make sure that, you know, if you are doing anything of that sort, that you make sure you leave them out of it. And it does actually carry some merit. You have to have some boundaries on that shit. When you get to the third cousin, now that's when you can have a bit of a dotted line, so it's an if. But once you get to the fourth cousin, it's pretty much okay at that point. If you're Muslim, you've always known this shit. You know, a fourth cousin is where it's allowed. And I totally accept it. Even from, you know, a non-Muslim side of view, I think, you know, like smashing your fourth cousin is okay, because in one way or another we're almost all related, especially if you were born and have grown up around the same area as most of the people you've been around. Of course, at some point you'll find that for communities, at some point there'll be a lot of marrying, and you'll eventually realize that my first cousin might end up being my wife's fifth cousin or some shit. So it does carry some merit because, well, in one way or another, I think we're related to that guy that built the Taj Mahal. I forgot his name. Like 1 in every 200 people on the planet is like a descendant of his in some way, shape, or form. So it does kind of give some merit to smashing your cousin. But now, that being said, people need to start getting boundaries, because some of these comments, you know, family comes first. For others, they'll say, you know, that pussy doesn't have a last scene. For a few here and there, you know, it'll depend with the cousin. For some, you'll see, yes, why not? But as usual, there are the more, I don't call them moral, but they're the more morally inclined in some way, who'll be like, you know what, blood ties is a no-go. I never go there. And I totally get you. That's why I said, you know, first, second, don't touch those. Third is a maybe. Fourth and beyond, it's pretty much game on, because for most of us, I don't even think we can get to our fourth cousin and actually state them out, because a lot of times if you are to do that, you might actually end up finding out that some of the people you done smashed is your cousin in one way, shape, or form. So that being said though, I think, you know, blood ties you should never really smash, because a lot of people are so down with this shit. And it's not like people are saying they're down with it and it's okay. It's the family comes first bit. And the whole, you know, I'm okay smashing a cousin here and there. Like, they don't seem to have that much of a problem. And it does kind of come down to what we consume. Like, people have zero boundaries when it comes to fucking. nowadays, the whole statement of, you pretty much bang anything that moves and that's human is starting to actually catch on and become a trend. And it's not like it's just something that you expect, probably a minority group like hippies or some people in a certain part of the world like the US of A. Hell, even us Africans are doing that shit. We have a president that did that shit. South Africa's Jacob Zuma, for those of y'all that are listening to this from the audio version. This guy pretty much went and smashed his friend's daughter, and that's after he has like 3 wives, and he still didn't pull out. Damn. Actually, now that I even mentioned the pulling out bit, like, I will give you guys a quick tip. If you are spin, regardless of what number they are, because, well, I'm not going to stop you. I'm just going to try and advise you against it. I'd probably say go and make sure you pull out. I will tell you to make sure you pull out so that you do not risk having a genetic situation on your hands. I would not want to hear of a wedding where my family is on both sides of the front VIP tables. I don't think it's something that'll be that interesting to look at. But yeah, back to the shit that I was talking about. The kind of content you consume. The number of people who consume porn is constantly growing by the day, and a lot of those categories now are starting to pop up. Like, a sort of categories that didn't exist before have started coming up. Like, if you go to some of these porn sites, you can actually find a siblings, a step siblings, a family type porn sort of category or subcategory that sort of exists there. And it's because people have started having a lot of fantasies of screwing around with a step sibling, as a step parent, or aunt, a sibling of some sort. And more and more people are actually picking this, which is why it's becoming a category on its own. Hell, some porn websites are pretty much just based off of this shit. And it's something that becomes a little apparent when you kind of go into, your porn hubs and your other porn sites. Once you start realizing a lot of this shit is taking on, it should probably kind of scare you to an extent, because people are starting to lack boundaries. When you're looking at the step siblings bit, it seemed to make sense a bit, because it looks like it's moving on from, the things like my girlfriend's hot friend, my friend's hot mom. Because if you're a nigga and you're actually listening to this, I'm sure you actually have a friend who has a very fine looking mother. If you do not know of one, yours might be the very fine looking mother. I'm not pointing fingers, but it is what it is. So you would find that a lot of these, fantasy categories are there in porn. But when you're seeing it going to the family level, that's how you see that some people are about to break some boundaries here and there. Because a lot of the porn that y'all are seeing, y'all have wanted to do. And y'all need some boundaries. You need to at least look at one of your cousins and not think of smashing them, no matter how fine. Like, you need to look at someone and at least be like, you know what, they're fine, yes, but I am not going to think of it in that way. Because no matter how fine people are, you can't just keep looking at people like that. You feel me? The way I look at it, y'all are just going in the very, very worst direction. And if y'all don't put up some level of boundaries, of self-control behind the type of people you want to bang, we're in for a very, very nasty looking future. You feel me? So, bottom line is this. Stop fucking everyone. You have to start putting up some boundaries in your life, or else, you remember that diss that everyone used to throw around? You'll pretty much sleep with anything or anyone that just has a vagina or a penis. Yeah, it's starting to become the norm, and the fact that we're actually losing our sense of boundary just because we want to get a shag is quite a bit of an issue. But anyways, y'all are free to leave your comments, questions, and feedback on the comment section of the IGTV page at Breaktime on Westside. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later. We out, people.